All right, friends, I've decided to do it. I'm going to summarize the last 10 years into 10 lessons. I'm going to give you the 10 lessons I learned from making more than 3,000 videos and put them on the internet. If you're ever thinking about making content, if you're ever thinking about using social media, if you're ever thinking about building something from scratch, this video is for you because lesson number 9 is going to be very controversial. I hope you're ready. All right, get some tea, some water, some matcha, and let's begin. The number one lesson really that changed my life is notice what you are 1% better at and then double and make it your 100% focus. Notice what you are 1% better at and then make it your 100% focus. What does that mean? When I was a college student, I had a roommate, and my roommate and I would use Facebook all the time. He would share a status update, I would share a status update. And I kid you not, his status update got 20 likes, and my status update got 30 likes. But my roommate was like much more charismatic, much better looking, much smarter than I was. But he wasn't really good at writing social media posts because he got 20 likes. I got 30 likes. And I asked myself, there's something here that I'm 1% better at than my roommate. And that is what gave me the idea that maybe you should make social media content. So in your case, you should ask yourself, am I 1% better at going to the gym? Am I 1% better at cooking? Am I 1% better at, using my hands to build a car or be a mechanic? That is what you should make 100% of your focus. Yes. Now, the second lesson that I learned, it really summarizes TTT. What does that mean? It means things take time. I'm writing it down for you here. What does that mean? It means if you commit to, let's say, create social media content, or if you commit to becoming a chef because you're 1% better at cooking, then you need to commit to at least 5 years. 5 years, which is 1,825 days. That should be your commitment level. Because nothing happens in a year, nothing happens in 2 years. Like, I'm so convinced of that. Nothing meaningful you cannot really build a brand in a year. You need a long time. So invest in your project for 5 years at least, 1,825 days. The third lesson, when you decide to invest 5 years into this new thing of yours, let's say it's content creation, you need to commit to it and do something difficult. Commit and do something difficult. People love to see others do difficult things. And this lesson has changed my life. Why do you think people followed Nas Daily in the beginning? Because I was making 1,000 videos in 1,000 days. And everybody was like, how does this guy live? How do you make time? How do you find internet in Nepal? But the idea of committing to 1,000 videos in 1,000 days was so hard that I ended up crying in the end. Actually, I'm going to show you right here. I'll show you right here. Right here. See?
This was
Right there.
10 minutes ago. I cried. I cried because today is an emotional.
It was so hard. People want to see you cry of doing something so hard. That's why we love Free Solo, the climber. That's why we love people who climb Everest, because it's so hard. That's why we love football players, because it is so hard to become a professional football player. So my advice to you, and the third lesson I learned is commit and do something difficult. People love to see you do difficult things. My difficult thing was 1,000 videos in 1,000 days. Now my next difficult thing, actually I had another difficult thing, which was 6 months, get a six-pack. And now my next difficult thing is build a giant company. And so every single one of those is really difficult, and people are invested to see the results of that. Now, number 4, whatever you do, whatever you do, and this is a big learning for me, whatever you do, you should at least one day aspire to make people cry. And this is called make people cry. Why? Why cry? Everybody associates crying with, sadness, anger, despair. But actually, it's not true. Crying essentially is just a deep emotional connection. You should always create something where people feel deeply connected to. So when I watch your video on the internet and you tell me about the story of your dad who is sick and battling cancer, and then you tell me about the story of triumph, I cry. I cry with you. I create an emotional connection. And so you really want to make sure to strike that emotional connection. So many of my videos made people cry. Some people cried out of anger, which I love, but most people cry out of just feeling that emotional connection. And you want to make people cry. So in content, it's very easy. Just make a video that's very personal. Talk about when you were bullied as a child. Talk about your relationship with your sister. Talk about your thoughts on whatever. All these topics are so sensitive and so personal, yet they create deep connection. That's the only way to get these deep feelings. Now, the minute you do all the above, and by the way, this is not just for content creators. If you make people cry by tasting incredible food that you cooked, right? Or make people cry because of the story of this dish, then you've created deep connection. So essentially, make deep connections. Number 5, think exponentially, not linearly. Is that even a word? Linearly? Let me see. Linearly. Not linearly. Let's see. Yeah, it's yeah.
Linearly.
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 It's a real word.
Linearly.
Okay. Think exponentially, not linearly. What does that mean? It means that our brains think like this. If I get, let's say, $1,000 every month, it means in 12 months, I get $12,000 because 1 times 12 equals $12,000. That's linear, continuous growth on a predictable fashion. However, the internet doesn't work like that. The world doesn't work like that. The world and the internet works exponentially. So exponential versus linear graph. Here's what I mean by that. That's the difference. Your brain thinks like this, but the internet works like this, which means when you start something, when you start a channel or a product or a company or a relationship, it's going to start. It's an exponential thing. Your business grows exponentially, especially if it's on the internet. So it's going to start very slow and very small and nobody will care about. But one day you're going to wake up and be like, oh my God, this is insane. It grew exponentially. This applies to your business. This applies to your relationship. One day you're going to wake up and say, oh my God, I have 5 kids with this person. I just met them 5 years ago. So this is what exponential means. And stop thinking linearly and trust that something is exponential. For example, Nas Daily, after 500 days or so, got like 1 million followers. But the next 500 days, it got 11 million followers. So it grew 10 times more in the same amount of time. That is what exponential means. So trust that the world works exponentially, especially the internet. Now, my 6th lesson that I learned, which I'm really excited about. If you want to go fast, you know this one, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. What does this mean? A lot of us think that I can do this alone. I can climb Mount Everest alone. I can go through life alone. I can do everything with my hands. I'm good with my hands. Well, I have bad news for you. You're not. You're just 10 times better with people, 100 times better with people. So my biggest regrets is I waited 700 days until I made my first hire. 700 days until I asked for help and I hired somebody, a video editor, to come and help me. And he became a great friend and he's still a friend. Project Nightfall, if you know him. And so I was going fast, but I was alone with my content creation journey. Now I'm going far because we're going together as a team of 100 people. So now all I think about, if we're gonna build something, hire people, do it with others. Even now I'm making this video with Daryl. Daryl's right there. Daryl, say hi. Hi. I couldn't do this without Daryl. Daryl probably hates his life. Daryl, do you hate your life? Come say hi.
Hi.
Okay, lesson number 7. Your social media is a stepping stone. It's not the destination. What does this mean? Most people think, I'm gonna get 1 million followers. I'm gonna create content. I'm gonna make videos, or I'm gonna make this business as the destination. No, it's not. It's not the end. Especially social media. You use social media to do something else. And everything in life, you know what? I'm going to change this lesson. Everything in life is a stepping stone. What does this mean? If you start to think about everything in life as a stepping stone to something better and bigger in the future, you're just going to be happy all the time. So let's say you view like the Nas Daily channel on Facebook. Great. But it was a stepping stone to build a company. And now the company, this media company, became a stepping stone to build a technology company. Now the technology company is a stepping stone to do something else, which I am not going to share with you, maybe in a different video. But that's the idea. Everything in life is a stepping stone. Even the restaurant you decide to build should be a stepping stone to maybe build 2 restaurants, or maybe build a restaurant chain or a food product. That girlfriend you met is a stepping stone to become a wife. And that wife is a stepping stone to have children. And those children are a stepping stone to have grandchildren. Everything in life is a stepping stone. I'm gonna get destroyed in this video. Number 8. This is specifically for content creators, which I have learned. Use your channel as a trust engine. This I got from somebody else. This is from a friend named Ankur. Your social media is a trust engine. Use paid ads as a sales engine. What does that mean? A lot of the stuff you do every day, like don't try to sell people every day. Maybe I'll make this more generalized. Don't try to sell people all the time. Buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. What you should do is you should have something that builds trust and then something that builds sales, builds revenue. So don't try to mix the two. And I mix the two sometimes and I regret it. So when I look at the Nas Daily videos on Instagram, I try very little. I don't share anything about Nas Summit. So we host Nas Summit, which is all around the world. I'll show you, it's right here. So Nas Summit is like a global gathering of creators from all around the world. We did it in Tel Aviv, New Delhi, Singapore, Mexico, all around the world. And it's 1,000 people, but I never mention this on my Instagram. Never mention it. Why don't I ever mention it? Because Instagram is a trust engine, and then I use paid ads as a sales engine. So, okay, you've seen the videos, great. Now I spend money and I pay for ads, and the ads get people to buy the product because they say, I've seen you on social media, I will come to your Nas Summit. Now think about life the same way. Some things you do to build trust and some things you do to generate revenue and create sales. But don't try to mix the two. And that is a very important lesson. All right, lesson number 9. This is the one we're all waiting for. The opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. A lot of us think that if somebody hates you, it means that they don't love you. Or if somebody love you, it means that the opposite is hate. I think that's completely misguided. You know, I look at Nas Daily and I'm like, I think we have, let's say, 30 million people that hate me. Awesome. That's great. I think we have 70 million people that like me or tolerate me. And I think 30 million that hate me. What would you rather do? Would I rather be in this situation with 30 million haters and 70 million lovers? Or would I be in the situation 8 years ago with 0 lovers, 0 haters, and 100 million people who are indifferent about me? Do you want the world to be indifferent about you? Nobody wants that. And that's very important. So when they're indifferent about you, it means that they have no strong feelings towards you. And strong feelings go both ways. And if somebody doesn't have strong feelings towards you, it means you haven't really done anything interesting in life. That is a fact. That's why politicians have done very impactful things. Start war, make peace. They have a lot of lovers and a lot of haters. Big entrepreneurs, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all of them have massive amounts of hate. Even football players, Ronaldo versus Messi, there's always that love versus hate for people who have created things in life. But everybody else, there is indifference. You want to make sure that people are not indifferent about you. You want to make sure people either ideally love you, but remember that hate is part of the game. And so that is how, that is one lesson I learned over the last 8 years. And my last lesson is really about content creators, but this one, I'm going to choose something else. This is for everybody. And it's called Don't Dream Big. Don't dream big. I will complete it. Dream long. That was the lesson I learned in 2024. And honestly, this is the lesson I think I need to keep repeating it. Don't dream big, dream long. It's very similar to the things take time lesson, but this one is actually a little bit more. What does dream long mean? It means try to dream about your life, not saying, oh, I'm going to be the next big thing when I retire. Or when I retire, I'm going to be a millionaire. Or like, I want to be the biggest entrepreneur, the biggest creator in the world. That's not how you should think about life. You should think about life is, what do I see myself doing in 30 years? Let me start to do it today. And what can I do for the next 50 years? Let me start today. So you need to identify the things that you enjoy and love and can do for a very, very long time. Because your competition only cares about it for like 1 year or like 1 month, and then they get bored and they move to something else. So the whole idea is to just outlast your competition by staying alive. That's why startups have this thing called stay alive. Just don't die. And Brian Johnson, our friend, he even has a summit. It's called Don't Die, where it's the whole idea is how can you stay alive as long as possible as a human? But in this case, with your ambitions and your dreams, how can you make sure your dreams don't die? So keep them alive as long as possible because your competition is just going to die. These are the 10 things I learned. I know they're not connected, but I'll try to connect them. Number 1, notice what you're 1% better at, double down on it. Then invest 5 years in it to see it actually grow. Number 3, commit to it and make it a very difficult endeavor. Think about the 1,000 videos in 1,000 challenge. Then number 4, whatever you do, make people cry. Make people have a deep connection to your work. Number 5, when it works, it's going to grow like this, not like this. It's going to go like this. Trust the process of exponential growth. Number 6, as you grow exponential, do not do it alone. Try to do it together with a team because that's the only way you can go far. Remember Daryl. Number 7, everything you do is a stepping stone. This is not the end goal. Don't just stop at what you create. It's always something bigger in the future. Number 8, build a trust engine and then build a sales engine and then keep them separate. Number 9, you will get hate. You will get a lot of people to hate you. But remember, the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. And you don't want people to be indifferent about your work. And number 10, don't dream big. Dream long. And that's it. I hope this helps you in whatever you end up doing. This helped me a lot. I wish someone told me this when I started my entrepreneurial journey 10 years ago or 9 years ago. But I'm experimenting with longer content that goes a little bit deeper to hopefully communicate these ideas with as many people as possible. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Tell me which one was your favorite lesson, so maybe I can even go deeper on that lesson. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Daryl!